I'm the host today. My name's Jack. I'm with my two compatriots. Say hello, boys.
Hello, boys.
Hello, boys.
Okay, well, it's going to be one of those shows, is it? First, I'd like to apologize for missing last week. It was the Super Bowl, and it was the Super Bowl.
We didn't think anyone was going to listen to us because the Super Bowl was on.
When you get the Alouettes versus the Blue Bombers, you can't expect anyone else to tune in to just us. So, um, and I want to make
there
a
might, 5 listeners that might know who those two teams are.
and I want to take the time to make a special shout out to a friend of the show. I'm not going to name him because but he knows who he is. And
Is he getting
okay,
kickbacks from somebody?
we are going to be looking through Dragon Magazine number 69.
69.
We are looking at the cover right now, and another gorgeous cover.
Yeah, it's I forget his name, but he's always signs his name with that symbol.
Clyde Caldwell.
Yeah, he's very and we talked about this guy before.
He's
Oh
all
yeah.
over the place.
Very prominent in the paperback fantasy books when paperbacks were super popular because we didn't have Kindles then.
Yeah, he's all over Dragon Magazine covers for sure. We've
Yeah,
had quite a few of them.
and he's on a ton of As a matter of fact, I was looking through. I was trying to figure out all the paperbacks that I had read of covers that he's done. So I really dig his artwork.
He must be really fast because he does covers like back to back. So probably is his
It's his bread and butter, maybe.
yeah, like he does fast good covers for magazines
But
and
also,
books.
if you hire an artist and say, hey, what you would find someone who does a certain look, and who knows, this guy could have been working for 15 years. He could have a back catalog so rich with the stuff you're looking for.
Oh, I see. Just already had it already. Yeah.
They say, hey, we're doing an episode with you need a dragon in it. Yeah, I got this one here.
Yeah, could be.
It's true.
Could be.
You don't knock this out in a day. Anyways, Caldwell, one of my favorites, always has been, always will be.
Did you mention that we're
dragon?
in January '83 now? We're in January of '83.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm fully into D&D and role playing now at this point. I did a lot of Forgotten Realms books, if I remember right.
I would have been what, 8? So I was not. I might have had a little DVD. I don't think they're out yet. The D&D figures. That was my first introduction to D&D was like pre-painted miniatures. I'm sure we'll get to them. Anyways.
Anywho, yes. So $3, and we are off to the races. So there is no now, Rob.
No,
what are you going to do
it's a
now?
it's a free world now, Jack. You can just choose. I'm just like the rest of you now. I don't have my own special section anymore.
It's gone. The Dragon's Rumbles is gone.
Yeah.
You can, because we still have Mr. Mohan
But
saying his piece in these.
There's nothing good in those.
For just nostalgia's sake, I'm gonna say, Rob, what do you got?
We're gonna go page. I believe we're gonna be 8 with the. Since it's the.
Oh,
Is this yours, Pat?
this is one of mine.
I can do another one.
No, go ahead.
It's runes. It's all about the runes.
Runes.
And there's an actual picture of a rune.
The rune
like
stone, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, like a photo, not just a drawing.
Yeah.
So it's a real in-depth article, an interesting article about runes and the history of runes and all the different types of runes.
Yeah, if you don't know anything about runes, like myself, it was a good little what I said history lessons behind runes, because I don't have a very robust rune.
Runic, yes, I like the history part. Then they try to apply it to D&D. That's where I fall off a bit.
Well, what I said is it's not something I would use in my game. Just runes. Runes are like thieves' cant in that sense,
Yeah,
I guess.
that's exactly what I was thinking. It was like, I said, do you really need a runic alphabet spelled out for you? Or you can just say, hey, there's some runes written on this rock. Do you need it to be actually, here's the runes? It's like, no.
Yeah.
You're not gonna be somehow be able to translate those runes you as a person aren't going to be able. Your character might be able to. So what's the point of actually drawing them out specifically instead of just saying, "Hey, there's a bunch of runes"?
Unless it was part of a puzzle, you'd slowly been given runes throughout.
Yeah,
Why do I care? What do I care? What do I care? Oh, here we are, third level of a dungeon, and hey,
yeah,
remember, something like that. But I had fears for this issue because page after page after page, I'm thinking there can't be that much left in the issue with all this rune stuff. I was wrong.
yeah. It's 103 pages this one, so it's a lot longer than usual. Yeah, they also do like common tongue runes, which I think they went too far. Like, just keep the old ones. Like, don't make up your own runes. But it brings up a point I wanted to bring up with you guys. It seems to me, maybe it's not the way I play, and that doesn't seem the way you guys play, but everybody wants everything spelled out very specifically and empirically instead of just saying, assuming like you know stuff or characters know stuff. Like a lot of the articles I find in this book are like that. It's just like, oh, we need this specifically this. Maybe it's the article writers, or if it's the zeitgeist at the time, or what.
I think it's the zeitgeist at the time, honestly.
Yeah.
I think back then, when we played these games, we had to have them spelt out. In a sense, we just didn't.
Well, it's not even just be about spelling out, but it's like going so in depth. But I guess that's the nature of Dragon Magazine. You're trying to go farther than the actual books. So
yes,
yeah. I don't know. It just seems weird because there's many articles keep coming up that it's like, oh, it's just, hey, let's. I don't know if it's in this issue or another one. There's some stuff I'm just like, man, that did not have to be done. So, anyways, that's runes. I don't know if anybody else has anything to say about runes.
No, I mean, like I said, if you're looking to get a little bit of history behind runes and everything,
Yeah.
the article
The history part's great. Yeah.
But then once you get to when it starts to bring it into a role playing game, you kind of lose me because I wouldn't use a whole alphabet of runes. And
well, then Ed Greenwood even goes even farther and does like rune stones and all this weird stuff. Like, it's crazy, and that is another like 5 pages. So
yeah.
Yes. So yeah, a little bit of history lesson. It'd have been nice maybe if they'd cut it down a little bit, like hey, this is how you could possibly use it, but they go to town, and if that's your thing, this is your episode.
Yeah, there's
yeah. So Pat, what's your first article?
My first article was going to be ruins, but let's just go ahead and knock this one out. Let's go to page 27.
27. It's not one of mine.
Not one of mine. So let's see what Pat thinks is important here.
It's 27 is a
It's the middle of some fiction.
It's 29. I meant.
Oh, okay.
I did a jack.
I've never done that once. I do believe.
No, it's me. I do that.
Yeah.
Yes, I did.
Jack is specific.
I did look one episode ahead one time and choose the page numbers from the next episode.
Oh, I've done that many times. Yeah, I've done that many times. I've actually done it so much that I thought I did it and I didn't do it. So, anyways,
so it's a continuation of the World of Greyhawk, DD's Nemergods.
Yeah, we're getting lots of the Greyhawk gods.
Yeah, now they're bringing in the Obad High guy, which is really cool, and then they brought in a new monster, which I didn't remember seeing.
Time Elemental.
Yeah, it's
seems scary.
It's a weird little creature. Yeah, it is. I mean, because it ages you, but it's a very complex creature in a sense that I don't know if I'd ever use it. Like it occupies time.
Well,
different times.
It's like a planar thing.
Yeah, so then you could create 2 or 3 more of its cells when it fights you.
It'd be more fun almost as an NPC where it just shows up out of order almost, or you're like, what the hell?
So in itself, it's a nice thing. Obad High was a god that they talk about quite a few times.
I definitely recognize this picture.
The picture is classic.
Yeah, like I've definitely seen that picture somewhere else before.
So I mean, I feel like this is going to go on for a little bit with the Greyhawk world, because I think that box set is now coming out or has come out.
No, it hasn't come out yet, but it must be coming for sure.
Yes. So,
well, they did I don't know if it was a box set. They did the original Greyhawk one, but I think the next one is the City of Greyhawk, the big one. So
yeah. So again, it's still a part of my past because my cousin used to be the GM or the DM, and this is the city we played in, and so
The
it's a
Greyhawk.
nice reminder of all of the different things that we used to do before I broke off on my own and became my own gamer.
When you struck out and left this behind.
When I left the family business
To
to
start
make it on my own.
your own criminal organization.
But
Yes.
they keep pulling you back in.
You went to war and they brought you back.
I did.
Enough about your
Okay.
history of being in The Godfather.
Yes.
But that would be my first article.
Okay, then if we could go to page 5
Oh, 5,
for
all the way
my
back.
first,
Whoa.
all the
Oh,
way
yeah.
back.
I think I have.
Out on a
Is
limb.
this the same one I have? Is it the very first one?
Yes.
Yeah, I have this one too.
Okay, then you can do the assist. I'll tee it up, and you can spike the ball.
I do like the title of it though.
Well, that was first of all, Scott Fritz. Thank you. Can't see the point. Was the letter he sent in? This is a letter sent into the magazine. He said everything perfectly, 100%. But when the title, mwah,
Yeah.
you know, that's the piece de resistance. I hope Scott is well, and for years afterwards went, yeah, I did a good job. Anyways, what he says is, hey, the Thieves' Cant article, you didn't need it. There's plenty. Everything we said, just go back and watch that episode where we talk about it. He puts it all very, very succinctly, and I don't know how much more you want to say about it, Rob, but
Well, yeah, he just says it misses the whole point of thieves talking. You don't have grammar. You don't have all this really in-depth language. It's more slang, and it would be much more regional. Like maybe there's some common stuff, but he takes it back to how actual thieves talk in like England and London and stuff, and it's all slang, Cockney rhyme. That's where it came from.
localized, but with some crossover, so that if it was a distinct language, it would take a little while. The police would figure out what
Yeah.
you're saying. It would be the code would be broken, and you could have
There's
any
no
old
point,
person
yeah.
walking up
Yeah.
from any city walking over, and why, hello, children.
Yeah, that's right. I
Fellow
too am a
kids.
thief.
Yes. So,
Yeah.
So that was my first.
Yeah, it makes
article.
so much sense, and it's just like, yeah, there's so many things against that Thieves' Cant that this is like, I don't know, probably a year later after it came out, and people are like railing against it.
It might be. It must have been a while, but we are talking about before you could go onto a social media site and I just finished watching this movie and this is what I think, and other people are like, it's opening day. What are you doing?
Yeah, you can't flame more of the Thieves' Cant article.
Yeah. Okay, Rob, your next article.
We're going to page 40, maybe. Yes, 40.
40.
Caped Crusaders and Masked Marvels.
Oh my God.
Is this your other one too?
One of mine.
See? This one's all about pretty much how to run a superhero game pre any of the real superhero games that we're used to, like no DC, no Marvel.
Is that what you got out of this? How to run it?
Yeah, for sure.
I didn't know what the purpose for this article was. Basically, when I read it, all I got of it is him just basically describing how a comic book series and all that happens in comparison to the superhero.
Well, but he's pretty much saying how, as a GM, how it's different from like a fantasy game. How you have to play it much more differently, where your heroes don't die that often. Your villains are not dying either, and it's
it might have been the way he worded it to me then, because I just feel like he was just talking about how lives happen in a comic book. If you didn't ever read a comic book.
Well, you got to remember this is before there's many hero RPGs, so a lot of people, this is their introduction to running a hero RPG. So that's why I think it was like a real basic, and it's not the norm. Everybody's so used to running fantasy and maybe a little sci-fi. Actually using for superheroes, it's a whole new genre that is emerging. And there's actually, at the end, it does say all the games that are superhero games, and I was surprised there was that many. There's a lot more than I thought, because at the time we really know of champions and villains and vigilantes and
Yeah, and
those ones. That's about
and the
it.
Marvel one.
Marvel one's not out yet. DC or Marvel aren't out yet.
You're right. You're
So
right.
that's why I think this is interesting, because it's a precursor to all this. And I also like how he also encourages GMs to mix and match adventures from other systems and even genres into your superhero game, because you can use sci-fi or you could use even fantasy spells and stuff. I think that was really neat. That back then it was pretty, like, if you were a Gygax guy, that would be unheard of. Never use anything else. You only use what you have. But I like how he embraces bringing stuff in from other places.
Right, because this isn't he built a world and this I'm giving you access to my child. He's saying this is a hodgepodge.
Yeah, open
Grab what you
sandbox.
want.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's a sandbox. Exactly. This is the comic book community can get together and build something, and it can be pretty, like, just like comic books. Like, even the artwork for this has, well, it's got not Hulk,
Yeah,
not
yeah.
Iron Man, not Moon Knight, not
Not Captain
all these
America.
different.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Is that the Spectre in the background, maybe? Um, yeah, I just thought it was real groundwork for a superhero game before there was superhero games that are like, like I say, Champions is what, a year old, 2 years old, not even, probably a year old. So
Yeah.
it's real early, so it's a neat basis of superhero gaming. I thought it was neat, and
Yes.
yeah, and even I liked. I like how he never mentions Marvel or DC. Like, he definitely doesn't say, "Hey, let's incorporate these," but he does mention, like, how to play a vigilante and how would you deal with somebody who is killing people. Well, you kill him. That's like, you want to play that way. You're gonna get that end of the stick too. So I like that too. But anyways, I thought it was an interesting article about superheroing, and I can't wait
The
for TSR to come out with a superhero game that might be called Marvel Superheroes, because that's definitely my
the
gateway.
dawn of the superhero game
Yep.
right here. Okay, Pat, what do you have another article?
I do. I have quite a few, but so
Okay.
it isn't.
Oh dear.
It's good that I
Uh,
stole all yours.
yeah. So we'll move down the line to page 48.
No,
48.
I can't read it sideways.
Our Cars Won. This is another game
Oh, this is
that
the
me and
game.
my bestie played
Oh yeah,
a ton of,
that's cool.
and it's basically wizard versus sorcerer. You make your armies, and then you battle each other. And so as I was reading this and thinking of all the times that we would make our armies and everything, I go, this is probably what led me to want to play a wargaming,
Hmm.
because right around 40K, fantasy starts to show up and Rogue Trader starts to come around here in the next year or two. And so I think this is it. This game right here is what we're like,
It's
we're
used
making
to army
armies,
building. Yeah.
and then we battle, and then you place units, and
Hmm.
pretty much the precursor to a war game that we know today.
Not so much a chit game like they had back then. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, this is still a chit game
Yeah.
in a
But I
sense,
mean, like,
but
not like mass bat like they do, like
but
Napoleonics or something like that.
yeah,
Like,
that is or Squad Leader. Squad Leader
mhm.
was out, but Squad Leader was
Complex.
horrendously complicated. Yeah,
Yeah.
like you can
It's
spend.
known to be complex.
They make fun of it in Big Bang Theory
Oh really?
in a sense. Yeah, they play a game similar to it. Or like, wow, we just got through half a turn one. Don't worry, we still got 6 more hours before we get to round two.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
But this is much more. What do they call it? I can't remember. It's simulation and what's the other? There's two different types of wargaming, and one's like super detailed, and the other one's kind of like you get the gist of it. This is more to get the
yeah,
gist of it and have fun.
yeah. It's just, I mean, consider it's just a game that came in a magazine. It's a very limited version, but for a 13-year-old kid who hasn't played a war game yet,
Yeah.
this was the great thing. We were playing Monsters of the Midway. Was it Monsters of the Midway? Is that what it was called?
Yeah. The
Yes.
football game. Yeah.
Yeah, Monsters of the Midway and our Cars Wand. Uh, and we're making our football teams one day. The next day, we're making our armies, and our after school playing these games after school after football practice. Uh, yeah,
Football.
Good stuff.
It's just and then when I reread the rules a little bit to try and remember how it went, I was like, you know what? Maybe this is why I started gravitating towards wargaming, because this is really
Exactly what it ends up being. Yeah, at the time you didn't realize how much it is just a war game.
So it was
funny.
pretty cool.
That's
At the
interesting.
time, you take what you can get. It's in a magazine. Yeah, let's try it out.
Yeah,
And then who knows? Years
yeah,
later, you
because
look back and,
I wasn't too much into the historicals, so the historicals didn't really catch me like.
Yeah, you never
Right.
did.
And those games and those kind of games have been around for a while too,
Yeah.
but it just never caught me.
oh yeah, they've been around for a long time, and if
Oh,
they're
yeah.
not going to catch you, they're not. Like,
Yeah.
it was not my thing.
Yeah,
No,
and so
I don't think anybody's ever played a historical.
it didn't influence me like this game did.
Rob, did you just claim no one has
I meant
ever?
of us, not in general.
Oh, okay.
No
People
one
claim,
ever.
but
It's they all
couldn't
pretend to, but they don't do it.
So
posers.
Yep.
Okay.
our car's won. If you ever have it, break it out, play it with your friends. It's still I think it still holds up.
And we never mentioned there is a link in the show notes where you can get every issue of Dragon Magazine on the internets through archive.org, I think. And yeah, so download it. This is issue 69. So,
Yes.
and you don't have to worry about ripping up a magazine. You can always just print this section.
Exactly.
Right.
And you can print that on cardstock. So they ask me.
Come
Take
on.
it to your school library and
Use your
Xerox it and-
Zimeograph and
Mimeograph.
right. Okay. Well, if everyone could follow me along, we're going to do my second article, which is going to be on page 38.
featured a culture.
Yes, I do tend to gravitate towards these. These are the official Gary Gygax monsters, and this picture, I remember this 100% being in one of the monster manuals, if it was Monsters Compendium or whatever.
Kind of looks like an intellect devourer. I don't know if they've been around. I think they were in First Monster Manual, weren't they?
Yes.
But these are fungoid versions.
And I think the intellect devourer, was that one of the ones that was based on the Asian toy that they just said, hey, we need
maybe
monsters, and
Yeah,
I
probably.
think so.
Just like the owlbear came out of that.
Yeah.
The rust monster.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
No, the bullet. It was
Bullet,
the
yeah.
bullet.
The bullet. Yeah.
Yeah.
Bullet.
But if we go down to the Zygom, and again, I recognize this picture and I recognize the monster, but I remember in one of the manuals, the picture for this thing was borderline pornography. So as I was reading down, I liked the monsters, and these become official monsters. But if you remember, this is a fungus, a shaft-like fungus that sprays milky liquids all over the place. Now, this isn't the picture that really is like, oh, easy boys. But I just wanted to know if anyone else remembered this creature and its sort of path.
The Zygom?
Yeah.
I don't remember this one.
Oh.
I don't remember it either, but Jack, it obviously had a...
It had an impact on you.
It did. It's no wizard's wand, but okay, then we could just move along. I thought we'd all go, oh yeah, and we'd commiserate and we'd remember fondly.
Is it more like... Oh, where's my camera? Oh. Can we see it? Oh. God damn.
Oh God.
Oh.
Oh God. It's gone.
It is very phallic, let's just say.
Okay, you might have found the picture that I remember.
It looks like
more,
a bush of peni.
Yes, it does, and it does shoot ropes of milky goo.
Do you think they were on the joke, or was it a coincidence?
I would like to have had that conversation, but no one else seems to remember. So I'm just,
you know what? When we go to Lake Geneva and we talk to Duck.
See, do you remember Zygoms?
Remember that, because I'm not reading. I didn't read this, but the milk is in quotes.
I'm not going to bring it up. No, this is a startling revelation.
Actually, you know what? I'll do a pre-reach around.
Pre what?
Well, since we were talking about Zygoms, I'm going up there to.
Tim just said he's gonna have to.
A thin
He's gonna have to.
stem with an ovoid cap.
Yeah.
I'm actually going up there to paint some minis with him and hang out next Thursday. So I will see what he says if he knows anything about this thing.
I can't wait to find out.
Okay. Yeah. Well, maybe I just broadened everyone's horizons. Maybe I just did
Corrupted
some
the
toilet
youth. I
humor
think that you just did.
And then when we go to the museum for you guys to check it out, I'm gonna say, "Hey, Doc, this is Jack. He's the one who was all curious about the Zygom."
He's the one obsessed with Zygom.
Okay. So
It is a pale blue milk, though, so he's got some issues.
He's from Tatooine.
Yeah.
oh yeah, Luke Skywalker is filling up a jug of.
It does have extremely sticky, and it does stick stuff together.
Yes, it does. Rob, do you have an
No,
article?
I think I'm done my articles actually.
You're spent.
Yep, I've been spent. Yep, I'm in the reflex.
Well, while you're smoking your cigarette, Pat, you said you had an abundance of articles. So why don't
one
you?
more left.
No,
Why don't you
your
run
abundance
a train on
runs
the rest
up
of the
in one more.
magazine?
We are on page 69.
Yeah, this is issue
Okay.
69.
This
This is issue 69. This is all making sense now.
We've sullied the integrity of this show.
Exactly.
And, it
Not
had
even
to be while I was in charge too, didn't it?
There's a wizard's mate in this picture, so instead of playmate, it's a wizard's mate.
And then if you look, it says Miss Chaos.
Yeah, see.
But that being said, there's also a recipe for carrot cake down over here too.
Yes.
You know, you always need carrots.
So this is not anything spectacular. I just am a big fan of Forgotten Realms, and these little excerpts from Elminster's book I thought were very amusing. His little tomes, and you would find in his library, so to say.
Yeah, it's written in world, right?
Yeah. So I just thought it was just found it amusing. We're watching worlds and campaign worlds develop as we read through these Dragon magazines. Ed Greenwood, of course, being the creator of Forgotten Realms, and Mr. being the magician, the wizard supreme of that campaign.
Mm-hmm.
And it's nice to see the things that I didn't see before I fell into Forgotten Realms. Like I read Dragon magazine, but I didn't put two and two together as I am now.
Yeah, you don't, because at the time you're like, I have no idea what he's talking about, and then later on you're like, oh, this is Forgotten Realms. Yeah.
Yes. So
very interested.
I included it because it just it tickled me and it brought back a little bit of nostalgia.
It touched you in your private parts.
It touched me in my Zygon.
Zygom's gonna be our new catchphrase.
Yeah, exactly.
If we could avoid that, might be nice.
You started it.
Okay. Yes, I will take the blame. I brought that.
I was gonna say, don't pretend like you didn't.
we didn't know what a Zygom was until you brought it into our lives.
Like I didn't even read the milk part until you started talking about it.
Until you exposed the Zygom to us, we were babes in the toy lands.
I exposed my Zygom.
Yep. Jack.
Okay. Rob. So you're out
done.
of articles.
Spent,
Pat's out of articles. So I'm tapped.
Oh, all right.
So if we could just circle back around to ads.
I got an ad.
Anyone's got an ad that wants to share? Well, okay. Well, take us on your journey.
Page 96. No.
Ooh,
96.
I was gonna lose it if you had taken one of mine again.
It wasn't 96. I'm insane. Is it 69?
That is an ad.
No, it's actually on 98. 96 of the PDF. 98.
Okay.
It's
You pulled a Jack.
I did pull a Jack. Two wallets. I think it's all in one article about 30-sided dice being sold.
Oh.
And it's like, yeah, 30. I probably have one right here somewhere. But
is it two or is it one?
I think it's one big article about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's.
I think this is the whole thing is for the Armory.
Yeah, the Armory. They do a book about 30-sided dice gaming tables, or they have books of tables, but they also have the first patent pending 30-sided dice. industry exclusive new shape poly dice.
Yeah.
And it's numbered 1 to 30 or 0 to 9 3 times, which is odd. But I don't know. Maybe there's some game that needs that, but that's an odd way to do it. Not 1 to 10 3 times. It's 0 to 9 3 times. And yeah, so it's neat to see this kind of thing where it's pretty ubiquitous now, 30-sided dice, and it's this is the introduction of it.
We went from, hey, you have to get your dice from a school learning center to, hey,
and the D20 the D20's marked 1 to 10 twice, and
now they're mass producing dice that that are not even in the game, but they're peripheral to the game now.
Yeah, I remember when our friend Rich first got his I think he was first one with 30-sided die, and there was no point to it. Nothing needed a 30-sided dice. We're like, ooh.
Yeah, I don't know what it is with 30. What would you use that for?
I think it must have been just the next size up that was easy to make in a polyhedron, I guess. Like now they have D24s, they have everything pretty much, but at the time I think they wanted something with even sides, which they don't do anymore. Like they make dice with weird sides now, but it's all even somehow. But yeah, so 30 must have been just the next size up that they could do easily. You don't need it. There's nothing that needs 30-sided dice.
No, not to my knowledge. Maybe there was a game that did come out in the interim that they were targeting, but for my money, I think they just, hey, we can.
They asked. They did. They what was it? They figured they figured out they could. They didn't ask should they.
Yeah.
You're the Hammond of the Jurassic Park.
They've opened Pandora's box with this 30-sided dice, and there's no going back. Dice galore.
No. It never goes back in that genie never goes back in that bottle.
I have a D2, which I like.
A D2, yeah, it's called a penny.
No, it's a die that it's only got 2 sides. It's cool.
Yeah, I call it a penny.
Yeah, and come on, it's a D2.
It could be a nickel, could be a quarter.
No, it's an actual die.
A quarter is if someone's going to make the reference to flipping a coin, the quarter is the way to go.
Yeah, who flips pennies? Poor people?
Poor.
Anyways, enough about your poorness. That's my ad. That's the only ad I have.
Okay, Pat, what is your ad?
I only have one ad too, and I feel like the ads are going to come thinly from here on because it's just a repeat of most of them, right? But we're going to go to the next page to 99.
Oh,
99. Oh yeah, I left this one for you. I thought you'd want this one.
Yeah, so
good old FASA.
FASA's big first play in the RPG is the Star Trek role-playing game.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoyed the Star Trek role-playing game. I don't.
You were the target audience though.
Yeah, I mean, we all at that point were, either Star Wars or Star Trek. There wasn't a Star Wars game at that point.
No.
And Next Generation hadn't come out, so we were still watching reruns and cartoons of the Star Trek franchise at that point. Does anyone remember the cartoon Star Trek with the cat lady?
I've never watched it, but I have seen pictures of it.
Yeah, I've seen stills. I didn't know it was a cat lady. I just remember seeing the cat.
Yeah. And one of the coolest things
Cats
about
are
this
always
role-playing
ladies.
game is that it gave you when you role played it, you could actually role play a battle because you had consoles pullouts in the game,
like
so
almost like the what is it, Fleet Commander or whatever the current
so
role-playing or the current video game is.
If your group was playing a ship, each guy that was part of that ship would take a console, and you'd have to allocate your power.
Yeah, that's exactly what the video game is, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they had that for role playing. You just slid your chits around, and the GM would of course be the bad guys, and then so you could do ship combat that way.
That's
which we
interesting.
thought was cool.
Yeah, like it's almost LRPG.
Yeah,
It's
and
LARP.
and then we and couple this with Starfleet battles that we're playing already. The target audience would be an understatement.
It's expensive though.
Friends.
$25, but it's probably a box set though, right?
It was a box set. Yeah, you got two rule booklets. You got the basic and you got the advanced, but then you got a crap ton of blueprints. You got the ship battle game rules.
You got out of that a lot of that 25
Yeah, I
bucks.
mean, look at it. You get 9 sheets of just the Enterprise deck plans, and the D7 is 6 sheets.
Yeah. Yeah, because that's how they started, was doing deck plans. So they must
Yeah.
have done it. Do you remember how it played, like as a role playing game? Is it similar to other Facet games, or is it was it totally
It
different?
was percentiles. Yeah, it was percentile.
Yeah, it's interesting. So
Yeah,
they didn't just
so-
copy D&D and throw it in there.
No, they did. They went the percentile way, like Top Secret did.
And Call of Cthulhu.
Was Call of Cthulhu out already?
Yes, it just came out. Remember?
Yeah.
That's why we started
Yes.
playing it. We played the game because it just
Yeah.
came out.
I mean, I thought the character creation was really cool in this game because you actually took your path via the academy. You chose which path you would go.
Almost like a life path. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, so they did almost like a life path. So you start from the academy through, and then however you picked how many years outside the academy you wanted to start. Say like you want to start 4 years out of the academy. Then those 4 years you roll to see what you did prior to
That's
where
neat.
your present day assignment is.
That's fun.
So like if you waited long enough, you could start on a Constitution class ship, or you could start a bit earlier and start on like a smaller science vessel kind of a thing.
That's cool. Yeah, it sounds pretty in depth.
Yeah, I enjoyed it quite a bit. So,
And in the end, you were Kim Cattrall, who is a trader on the bridge.
That's right.
pretending to be a Vulcan.
Spoilers.
spoilers.
Oh,
But she was the second version of Savick, wasn't she?
I don't think she wasn't Savick. She was
no.
she was just another person. Savick. There was two Saviks though, because the
There
first one
was.
was Kirstie Alley, and then she didn't get called back, and then there was a different one.
Yeah, I remember there was two Saviks. I can't
Yeah,
remember.
she
the
wasn't
second one
Savick. She was just one of Spock's girl toys,
Proteges.
was. Girl Toast. One of his
proteges. You know what I'm saying?
one of his side pieces.
What do they call? What do you call it?
Easy.
The mating ritual for Vulcans.
Ponfire.
Ponfar.
She was his Ponfar. You know what I'm saying?
You too.
We're
Always
spoiling Spock's name, dragging him through the dirt.
soilingly. Yeah. Okay, well then I think it's time for my ad. So if we could just go up to page 2.
2 all the way back to the top. I thought you'd like this one. It's nice and colorful.
Nice and colorful, and mind you, join the Galactic Legions sounds great. And I like that monkey race. They were really good, and uniforms-
Reminds me of from Dead Zone. It reminds me of a Sorak.
They're
No, not
called
Sorak.
They're called Yerzarians.
Yiffer.
But if I had to wear that uniform, I probably wouldn't join. Kind of looks like a
You know the funny thing
Zygom
is,
a little bit.
the funny thing is you don't have to wear that uniform. I don't know why they put everyone in that uniform.
Because that's Galactic Legions.
They're the Galactic Legion, and the shoulders look like the wrinkled. Well, then the head with the well.
I don't remember the Galactic Legions at all in Star Frontiers.
Who knows?
I don't know if there's a. I don't remember either. If you look at the ad down at the bottom left corner, that's more of the iconic
Yeah, that's the old cover.
freewheeling.
It's much
high adventure
more
number.
it's much more Firefly, a lot less Star Trek. I think Star Frontiers.
Yes. So, but look at that ad. That is a dynamite ad. If I was scrolling through here looking for
You'd be like, whoa! Especially it's like the
space game.
second page too. So it's on the back cover. So you're like, whoa, that's nice and colorful and pops out.
Yeah, I think this is they're really pushing the Star Frontiers, and again, it got me. I own it. I played it.
You own everything, and you've
I do,
played
but-
everything.
I just because I'm a sucker.
Sucker.
you have an impressive hoard on which
Sleep.
you've amassed over the years.
Yeah, I mean, I ran the intro module that came in the basic set when we hung out in Lake Geneva that one getaway with a bunch of us.
Nice.
Oh yeah.
So it was pretty fun.
Star Frontiers.
Star Frontier is also a percentile based game.
Look at this. Everybody's like, I'm going to do percentile, even though there's no D100 yet.
There will be.
There will be.
There will be. Okay, well, that was my ad, and if anyone else has got an ad that they want to take a gander at, let's hear it.
No, I think we're like I said. I think abs are starting to become repetitive.
There's nothing new I've noticed that much. That, like I say, the
Yeah,
ones that were new, I knew Pat would pick the Star Trek one, and I had a feeling Jack would get the colorful one, so I picked the 30-sided dice. So it'll be more
and
like that, picking up random stuff or like, oh, I remember this, or
yeah. I mean, because like these epics, these computer games, they're still running the same
the
ads.
lies of the. This is not what the game looks like.
Yeah,
You're telling me that it doesn't have graphics that today would be a marvel in on the Atari?
not at
All the
all.
covers always lied to us. Yeah, Crypt of the Undead. Look at that. I like how it just
Shameful,
says "Here lies" and it's like one word for some reason.
Yeah,
because it is all lies.
It is "Here lies" exactly. They're admitting to it. It's all conspiracy, Jack.
it's all lies, lies, lies. Yeah.
We're gonna get a copyright
Okay,
strike.
no, not with what he just did. No one would recognize that. So, does that wrap up
I
this
believe it
edition?
does. Yep.
I think it does.
We did pretty good, keeping it tight.
Keeping it
Toy.
real post Super Bowl.
Yes, post Super Bowl, and yes, hopefully we don't have another disruption for quite some time. We
What's the
don't
next
want to
sporting
alarm
event?
anyone.
Probably Stanley Cup, maybe. But that's not like a
Yep.
one-time event. It's over
No,
7
and
games.
we should probably plan better in March.
Well, what really
Yes,
happened, as we could say, guys, what really happened is we played Call of Cthulhu instead of
We're
recording.
recording.
So that's what really happened. It had nothing
That's
to do with the Super Bowl.
with Joe Biden.
What?
That's my
Anyways,
nephew's name is not Joe Biden. I don't know what you're talking about.
this has been the Dragon's Tome. I've been your host, Jack, and these are my compatriots. Does anyone have anything to say before we wrap it up?
Like, share, subscribe.
Hit the
I,
bell.
I've heard
Comment.
those are things. Yeah, comment is what we like. We like reading the
Yeah.
comments and we try to respond. And yeah, join our Facebook group. It's always fun times. We've been posting more things, talking about covers. So, and yeah, that's about it.
Perfect. Okay, everyone. See you next week, and bye bye.
See you later, boys.
Bye bye.